Welcome to Top Employers Inspire, your 3-day event to gain valuable insights on the world of work. At Top Employers Institute, we aim to inspire with purpose, and we are on a mission to make a positive impact on the world of work. And also to do that, we aim to embrace our purpose by sharing as many insights from our certified top employers as possible. So, Top Employers Inspire. We're at day 3 of the 3-day event, and what you can expect on the last day, we have certified top employers UST on driving DE&I with social impact. Then we have a conversation with top employers Dana and Jusk on global strategy and local needs, exploring the fit between global organizations and local ones. And to finish Top Employers Inspire off, we have an exciting future-looking session with our CEO and our Director of Research and Insights on the fundamental shift in HR that is taking place. So I would suggest register for these sessions and gain the biggest return on learning and investment. But now we have Nestlé China on their mentor networks. I'm honored to connect live with our regional director for the Asia Pacific region, Billy Elliott. Billy, welcome.
Hey Wouter, good to see you again.
Nice. Billy will be moderating the session with Nestlé and also doing the Q&A. So without further ado, I'd like to hand it over to you, Billy.
Thanks Wouter, and I'll catch you at the back end. Cheers. Hello everyone, and a warm welcome to the third and final day of Top Employers Inspire Week, and what a week it's been. And we are the first session for the day, and we'll obviously do our level best to set a great tone for the day, for the day and the other upcoming sessions. As Wouter mentioned, my name is Billy Elliott, and I'm proud to serve as the Top Employers Institute's Regional Director for Asia Pacific. And today we are joined by many delegates from all over the world, and we are coming to you live from China and Singapore respectively. I do have a quick few webinar logistics to cover before we start the main program. So should you wish to listen to this webinar in Chinese, simply click on the globe option that says interpretation, and you'll be able to listen to the webinar in the language of your choice. You're welcome to send us any questions or remarks in the comment section. In fact, we highly encourage you to do this because it'll make for a more interactive session, and these will obviously be addressed during a dedicated audience Q&A segment. So let's get started with the content and the reason why we're here. And what we have noticed is that many top employers from around the world are offering a wide range of resources to enable employees to develop the competencies and the skills they need and want for the future. But the most advanced organizations have done so through use of digital and personal resources to reinforce their successful delivery. But one must remember that it's not just about offering online self-managed resources, but it's also about in-person support. And for me, that's absolutely priceless. And the balance between both types of resources is proving to be highly effective, and it's one that generates the best employee career development experience. And according to our most recent survey, 61% of top employers globally are offering resources such as mentoring or coaching to the employee for career development opportunities. And that's actually a 10% increase since 2021. So keeping in mind what I've just said, Nestlé, a current 2023 top employer in China, is going to be unpacking their successful strategies for mentoring, common challenges that they've experienced, and new ideas that they've created to further improve their world-class mentoring practices that already exist within the organization. We believe this webinar is going to provide delegates with many valuable insights and key takeaways in terms of designing mentor network practices for your very own organization. So allow me to introduce the main presenter for the session. Ms. Jessie Liu is Nestlé's Senior Vice President of Corporate Human Resources Zone Greater China, a very important position that she has fulfilled for this global powerhouse since August 2022, I believe. And Jessie has over 20 years experience in various HR and senior leadership positions, including 12 years supporting cross-country businesses and 5 years in global roles, which have required multiple areas of organizational expertise. And an interesting fact about Jessie is that in 2021, she returned to China from the United States of America and began her entrepreneurial career serving as the chief HR officer of a company called Deep Mirror, where she was a member of its founding team and board of directors. So Jessie, good to see you on screen. It's a pleasure to have you here with us. So I'm now going to hand over to you so we can obviously learn a bit more about Nestlé's China mentor networks. And I look forward to asking you a few questions throughout the session. And welcome, good to have you with us.
Thank you, Billy. Please allow me to introduce Nestle company before I start sharing the mentoring programs. Okay. I hope that you can see my screen. It works well. Okay, so before I start, I want to have a very quick, introduction of Nestle company, and let's go to watch a very quick video. Let me do that again. This seems not working.
I think it was just the audio.
Okay. Working. Let me try again. I'm so sorry.
No worries. We'll give it one more go.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that short video. I'm so sorry for the problem. And some people may know Nestle as a coffee company. Actually, you can see some of the numbers here. Actually, is it amazing that actually we are selling 1 billion products every day? This is some numbers for Nestle globally. And then I have one more page to show some numbers for Greater China Zone. We have 23,000 people, and is it interesting that we actually consume 1 million eggs every day and 400,000 tons of fresh milk every year.
Jessie, sorry, before you carry on, the one thing I didn't realize that caught my attention on the previous slide was that you've got over 2,000 brands in your portfolio, and I didn't realize that you had that many brands. Most of which probably sit in my fridge or pantry. Before you move on, can you give us a brief overview around some of Nestle China's main people priorities? Jessie, are you able to hear me? Sorry, folks, I think we're experiencing some technical challenges in China. Let's hope that they can rectify themselves.
I hope that you can hear me now.
Loud and clear.
Okay, sounds good. That's a very good question, Billy. I'm so sorry that for the sound problem. I joined Nestle last August, So I'm still in a journey learning more about Nestle, but I still remember a story that one of my mentees told me about 2 months ago. She said years ago, the trucks were lining up outside the factory to wait for our products. The customer really wanted our products. We did not have to force the customers to buy our products. That's very impressive. And we want to continue that momentum. And but then you see the local competition, right? And it's not that easy anymore. So I also heard some feedback that, some of the candidates and some of the people feel that, Nestle is a little bit too slow and even a little bit too traditional. What can we do to change that? So that's why I here included one page to show our people KPIs. So you can see, the overall retention of our people, right? Especially for high performers, for key talents. And then we have very good headcount control, headcount level for back office. We have leaner structure, especially for sales team. We have very good gender diversity. Females, we have more than 50% of females taking managerial positions. And although we have improved, young talents and also the retention of young talents, but I see the opportunity to continue to improve that. And the succession pipeline has to continue to build. That's why I show this kind of boring page to show you some of the programs we included in 2023 HR key strategic priorities. And then you see some of the programs that I highlighted in orange, which I'm going to discuss and introduce today.
Super.
Then, but the objective is to eventually build a high performance organization and cultivate the individual growth. So again, I hope that in today's session, I'm not just sharing the mentoring programs as part of the learning program. We have to realize all this in-person support, the mentoring programs are being launched and introduced in order to enable the cultural transformation and leaders role modeling, and also prepare our workforce for the future business growth. Okay, I will just move on, talking about some of the mentoring programs. You can see that actually, I'm sorry that I can hear myself. You can see here. Can you?
Okay. You are back. You're back again.
Okay, so you can see that I included some other people practices in order to show how we build our organization and how we develop the individual talents. So for example, the mentoring circle program is more for the key talents. And then the reverse mentoring is more for the young talents to mentor the senior executive. And the shared board is not a mentoring program, but it's a program to kind of advise for young talents to advise and mentor the CEO. And the product master program, which is more for the experts and the masters in the specific technical fields to mentor the specialists in the technical fields. And the CEO challenge campaign, which is more for boosting the employee branding, but also we introduced that program for the internal mentors to mentor the young students to grow themselves. So let's move on to the next, the first program. It is not a program, but we have this practice because as I introduced at the very beginning, leaders role modeling is very critical. Again, for the high performance organization, for the individual growth. So all the top leaders in Nestle, Greater China zone, we ask them to include this as one of their teacher or mentor. And also we have a ranking system. Every quarter we show this ranking, among all those leaders. You can see, this ranking system, we included all these people KPIs, including the high performer retention, young talents retention, key talent career development, succession ratio, internal promotion, etc., etc. So again, through this practice, we are holding leaders accountable for, again, talent development and also building a high performance organization. First of all, they have to be a mentor, a coach, or teacher. So HR team helps the leaders to develop the programs. We build a platform. We equip the leaders to have the skills for being a teacher or a coach or a mentor. We introduce some of the programs here, but definitely the leaders, are supported enough to, to play this kind of roles.
And out of interest, I mean, business leaders are very, very busy people, as we all know. They are inundated with meetings and emails and external programs. So how exactly do they find and make time for such an important responsibility in terms of grooming, talent within the organization?
I have to say, at the very beginning, they were a little bit scared because they are already very, very busy in their daily job. But HR team actually help the leaders, as I mentioned, they help the leaders a lot by equipping them with the skills as a coach, a mentor, and teacher for a commercial academy. We call it 商学院, and also the other leadership schools. But also we help the leaders to identify the coachees, mentees, or students who are willing to learn, who have the motivation and passion to learn. So that the leaders really can maximize the value of being a teacher, a coach, and mentee. And also because when they started this kind of programs, they really received a lot of good feedback, recognition, appreciation, and through these programs, they also build trust, with their teams or with the talents across other BUs as well. So it's a win-win situation. Again, I don't see they have any complaint. They don't have any fears anymore. They feel they are adding a lot more values, on top of their daily job. So no issue at all.
And I guess the fact that it's, the objective is actually included in their performance scorecard also sends a very strong message to the whole company around how seriously you take talent development. So, I guess people are going to find time and want to be a part of what you're building, right?
Yeah, this is going back to what I just mentioned at the very beginning, that leaders have to be the role model for everything, right? For driving a culture change, for building a stronger organization, for building trust, everything. So they have to be the role model. Then the next level of leaders, they will do the similar things. Even if they are not a certified coach, they can utilize the coaching skills. And, they have to understand that, mentoring their teams and their staffs, is so important. Excellent. Okay. And then up to another program, Mentoring Circle. Mentoring Circle actually is a program for one senior leader to mentor 12 or 15 mentees. And, this group of people will, discuss and choose a topic for the whole year. And then, they will have 4 or 5 sessions throughout the year focusing on this one subject, one topic. For example, you can see some of the examples at the bottom of this page: sustainability, right? Self-awareness, leading change, innovation, and company culture. What is culture? Strategic thinking, etc., etc. And we have started, from early this year. So far, I think we have heard a lot of good feedback on this program.
Yeah, I love this particular program because you're also giving more exposure to more employees in the company in terms of, having access to a mentor, but it also helps build that peer-to-peer network where colleagues feel like they're supported, by each other. And can you share a couple of differences of this program versus the one-to-one mentoring program? I'm pretty keen to understand that.
Yeah, I think you already made a very good point that, this is not just the one mentor mentoring, a group of mentees, it's a peer-to-peer learning as well. It's not just the in-circle learning, after the so-called the sessions, these people will have interactive discussions on WeChat or on Teams. So peer-to-peer learning is very important trait of this program, which is different from the one-on-one mentoring program. And also all these mentees are actually nominated by the teams. They are key talents, so they are going to do the similar things afterwards. So it's a role model thing. We are driving this kind of programs to maximize the impact and to influence more people.
And Jessie, just on that point, I love this mentoring practice. I think it's fantastic. But quite often, sometimes mentees aren't always comfortable to share personal stuff in a wider group or wider environment. Do they still have access to have a sort of one-on-one time with the mentor?
Yeah, this is more for a circle, like a group of mentoring. But we do have programs like one-on-one key talent mentoring for sure. And then just like a coaching, you have to follow certain rules. You have to keep the confidentiality and to build that trust.
Yeah. Super. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. Very quickly, let's move to the reverse mentoring. I think this is not a new concept at all. Many other companies, they are doing the similar things. But I want to introduce that, to everybody because I see the great value generated, from this program. It's more like, the selected group of selected mentor young talents to mentor the senior executives. We make that, it's not just one-time program. Every other month when we have senior leadership team meeting, we invite a group of young talents to talk to the senior executives. Up right corner of this page, you can see some of their codes. It's very interesting to say, it's not about what you think, it's about what we think. Listen to us, please. And it was the first mentoring session was very interesting, and the senior executives were shocked, and they were so quiet, while they were listening to the young mentors, because the young mentors, they showed the survey, a survey result from 150 young talents, and then survey results from the senior executives. So you see the big differences on some of the topics. Very interesting. But it's a great opportunity for young talents to get exposure in front of the senior executives, but also more important is for senior executives to continue to learn, especially on the new market trends, new terms, new jargon, or the new way of working and new ideas for sure.
And you can just imagine the sense of pride of a young talent in the organization educating one of the smartest minds in the company on a particular topic. That must be really, really special for them. Have you participated in the reverse mentoring program, and is there a nice takeaway that you got from one of the mentees?
We thought, so again, they showed the first reverse mentoring sharing told us that the young talents hate to be told. We know that young talents hate to be told to do things, right? That's for sure. But we thought the conversation is not that important for young talents. They want just the flexible working hours, whatever. But it's not true. Especially in China, the pressure for the young talents is very heavy because living in a big city is not that easy. So we learned that we have to make sure we look at the conversation as well. Well, of course, the career development, but also the new way of talking to them. So through this session, the cross-generation communication has been improved. And after the sessions, the senior executives, they continue to discuss what they have learned through this session. It's very interesting. They were shocked. They were quiet, when they listened to this young mentors. But afterwards, they continue to talk about that. So it's more about the mindset changing. So the mindset of the senior executives, it's very important. They have to be open to new things, and they have to know what the young talents want, right? What they think, and what the way they prefer to work with. So the mindset thing is very important.
And I'm sure they probably play a critical role in influencing the digitalization, of the business, because they are so close to that area. In fact, I would love to be mentored on how to use digital platforms properly, because it's something I need to work on.
Yeah, for sure. They use the videos a lot during their session. Okay, let's move on to the Product Master Program. I know the name is a little bit kind of weird. Actually, it's called, in Chinese, we call it 专家团项目. 专家 means experts, but we don't use the expert because expert actually is a formal title in R&D. So we use master program, means that we identify a group of masters, experts in the specific fields to you see the roles on the left side. You can see that their roles are to drive innovation for within the company. They have to impact the business strategies, and externally they have to be the ambassador for the company, for the business. And internally, they will also play a role as a mentor to develop the specialists in this field. You can see these fields because we are a food company. In these fields, we need specialists, experts, like food safety, like dairy and nutrition powder, coffee powder, like brand communication, regulatory field, right? We like product and science communication, etc., etc. And then on this chart, you can see, the example of a master profile. How we identify them, how we help them to build their profile, and how we work with them closely to mentor and develop the younger specialists in these fields. It's a very important program for us to develop young talents who are willing to, spend years in particular fields, which is also very important. And then HR's job is to communicate, the purpose, the values of this program, and work with all the fields to map the talents and identify the experts and the masters, and work with these masters to develop the younger specialists. Okay. And then Shadow Board, again, I just mentioned earlier that Shadow Board is not a mentoring program, but you see the characteristics of mentoring as well. And this time it's not a senior people mentoring young people. This is a group of young talents play a role as board member, but it's not a real board member, right? So we call it Shadow Board. Again, I don't think this is a really totally new concept, but Shadow Board means, we invite a group of young talents to be the board members. They are going to advise and mentor the CEO on a quarterly basis. So it's a great opportunity for young talents with some experience, not young talents, to involve in the business decision making, to involve in the business strategies, to advise the CEO, and for sure, to influence and impact the culture, to challenge the status quo as well.
Have you got any nice examples of any sort of advice or feedback that was shared with the CEO through this platform that has now consideration and is going to be implemented within the company?
A lot in the first board meeting, actually a lot were being discussed. I think the CEO liked all these ideas. I see the value that the CEO actually took this very serious. And then he said, you guys are board members, so please, make sure that you don't just present projects and ideas that you want to launch, you want to develop. But also, as a board member, please, evaluate the overall organization. Tell me next time in the next board meeting, let me know what we are doing well and what we have not done well. Please bring, your opinions, and assessment as well. But then I can give you another 2 examples regarding what has been implementing, or what the CEO has done to support, the new ideas. So 2 board members brought 2 things. One is about the process simplifications, like how do we combine the acts to make sure that we don't have to go through all these different acts and different processes for certain approvals on certain things, including like travel request, for example. And so the CEO asked a few teams to provide resources for that board member to simplify the processes and while driving the digitalization of those processes to improve the employee experience, but of course to improve the efficiency as well. Another example is about the new product for a certain category. I'm not going to disclose the confidential information, but the CEO immediately took actions to work with just to have a meeting, a so-called top-to-top meeting with Sam's Club and also Walmart, and they are going to bring more new products, not just the locally developed new products, but also the international brands within Nestle. So make sure that we have a better pipeline, product portfolio, working with Walmart and the Sam's Club. So again, without disclosing the confidential information, but I want to show you that the CEO really considered their advice, and I won't say mentoring, but their advice, opinions, and their ideas, and implemented and took actions immediately after the first board meeting.
Nice examples. Thank you for sharing.
Okay, and I think this is the last one. I'm not going to spend too much time for each of these programs. Rather than we can spend some time in the Q&A. This CEO challenge campaign is not a mentoring program, but I'm here to introduce this program as well because we have identified internal mentors to mentor the young students from the schools. So it's a more employee branding program. The challenge, the campaign is focused on the 4 themes. You can see this on the screen. That in the 4 themes, including product innovation, marketing solutions, supply chain and product operations, and the sustainability. And then we have, we got a lot of attention from 1,000 students from over 500 schools, including more than 100 overseas colleges. So it's wonderful. The progress is wonderful. We are going to conclude this program in June, early June. And but here, what I want to mention here is about the mentoring program. Within this program, we identified 24 internal mentors with a lot of experience to help the students. So through this program, it's not just about the employer branding program. It's for what we can do to help the young students in the schools.
Brilliant. And can you explain a little bit about the process you implemented to select the right mentor for the students? Because obviously, having the right fit and a culture match is very important.
Yeah, we actually got hundreds of leaders and some of the experts saying that I want to volunteer to be a mentor for the students. And, many people are so passionate to help the students, but then we work with the BU leaders, business leaders, and also the HRBPs to make sure that our mentors are really trained and the experience that have expertise to mentor the young students. So there are certain criteria, including that they have to have the passion to help the young students. They have to have the skills to manage the projects. They have to have wonderful communication skills, and they need to have the expertise for their products, for their categories.
Excellent.
Yeah. I want to very quickly wrap up my sharing today by using one more slide. Again, although what I discussed today are around a few mentoring programs and a few people practices, but I want to say, HR job is not that easy. We have to take care of a lot of things. To build a stronger organization, you have to make sure that the structures and processes are leaner enough, are lean enough and simplified. And we have to make sure the leaders are role modeling. We have to make sure we have the right talents, and then eventually build a stronger organization with agility, innovation, collaboration, and a commitment. And I think that's my short sharing. I apologize again for the problems, at in the very beginning. And I will hand it back to you, Billy, and see if we have a Q&A session.
Brilliant, Jessie. Thank you for the fantastic sharing, and I absolutely love the diverse mental practices that you have in your company. Really, really inspirational, and I think it's fantastic that so many employees in your in your organization have got access to such a great array of opportunities, and we obviously really appreciate your sharing. I'm just watching time. We do have 8 minutes before I've got to wrap up the session, and we do have some lovely questions that have come through. I'll start with the first question, and that comes from Stephanie. Thank you very much for the question. And Stephanie says, does this mean the mentor is rather a moderator during the sessions? And I think Stephanie's probably referring to the mentoring circle. So does the mentor play more of a moderator role as opposed to a sort of mentor in the session?
Not really. Actually, the moderator role is played by one of the mentees. So you have to identify one of the mentees to coordinate everything. So that mentor does not spend time to moderate, to prepare, but definitely, you have to play kind of a facilitator role, but then you are still a mentor. But I just want to say, you have to pick one of the mentees to be the coordinator and even the moderator.
Yeah, being a moderator is a critical skill that you'll need to actually facilitate those sessions. But completely understand what you're saying. Yeah. Next question is from Karen Lim, and Karen says, "How are the objectives for the mentoring circle versus the one-to-one mentoring communicated to the mentees so they know what they need? Everyone might prefer one-to-one, so how are they directed to the mentoring circle instead?" That's a good question.
Yeah, we do have one-on-one mentoring programs provided to the key talents, especially for the top 2 or 3 levels. But this mentoring circle is more to maximize the value and better utilize the time of the senior leaders. It's not that everyone can do that mentoring circle session. Normally, we identify the senior leaders with mentoring skills to do that session. So we have, rounds of discussions and prepare this mentoring circle session, make sure that we have a right topic. The topic that the mentees want to focus on, and also, for the senior leaders, again, we have a lot of different roles. Even, in this particular responsibility of developing talents, they have to be a teacher. For example, we have so-called commercial academy within Nestle. They have to be a teacher, some of them, and then they have to be a coach, or even if they are not a certified coach, they have to utilize the coaching skills in their daily job. So they play a lot of different roles. So their time is precious. So that's why we want to maximize the impact of this mentoring thing. So this is more like this concept. But again, we discussed earlier, the peer-to-peer learning, the learning among the mentees themselves is also another objective that we want to achieve through this program.
Excellent, cool. Thank you for sharing. The next one is how did you motivate your product masters, and did you experience any issues with that process?
I have to be honest that we just started early this year. Actually started preparing this program late last year. But so far, everybody's very passionate to mentoring, again, the younger I mean, the young specialists, we call specialists means, you know, they are talents already. They have been spending years in those, you know, fields, but they were not, some of them, they are not sure about the career path. So actually, I did not have enough time to introduce this program. We built the so-called dual career path, you know, and these masters, you know, they are the role models and the experts to help the talents to motivate those talents to continue to develop their career within one particular field. So they don't feel lonely. They don't feel that, you know, I'm not a manager, you know, will I be paid well in the future? You will, because, you know, you see those masters, you know, they are the role models. They are getting paid very well, but they are contributing, you know, to the company a lot through their expertise. Of course, again, through mentoring the young talents in this particular fields as well. We need cross-category talents, but we also need experts in particular fields.
Super. I've got sort of 3 or 4 different questions. I'm going to try and combine them all into one. So I hope it doesn't become too complicated from my perspective. So in terms of how did you identify the mentors? What was the application process? And did your mentors receive some form of formal training to ensure that they had the right type of skills to mentor the mentees?
It depends on which kind of a mentoring program, but all the mentors will receive kind of a briefing session from HR team. So we have a group of coaches, certified coaches in the company. We also have a learning and development team who is driving all these mentoring programs. But you see, actually, again, mentoring program in Nestle is not just a learning program, 20% of learning program. You know, we launched this mentoring programs partially to drive the culture transformation as well. But again, going back to your question, all the mentors, even if they are very experienced, will receive a briefing session before they start the mentoring session. You know, whatever it's one-on-one mentoring program or mentoring circle, even for the reverse mentoring, we don't just invite a group of people to come to talk to the senior executives. They have to think, they have to summarize, they have to do the survey, they have to think about what they can teach the senior executives. So that's a lot of work behind in these programs. I did not have enough time to discuss the details and all the steps of each program, but that's a lot of work behind.
Cool. And just one final question. I'm going to test your time management skills here. We've got, I think, 40 seconds to answer this one. And I love it. I think it's a great question to finish off with. And that is, how are you measuring the success of these different mentoring programs?
That's a very good question. So first of all, we have a ranking system, right? So we will rank the kind of contribution of each leader, the personal hours spent, and also the key results, right? We have all these results. And of course, the feedback, right? The feedback from leaders, feedback from the mentees, mentors, and also we, for example, the percentage of specialists we developed in a year after this so-called product master program. So for each of the program, we have certain KPIs and objectives. But survey feedback definitely is one, and the culture survey, engagement survey, those are the things that it can do to measure the effectiveness and the results.
Super. Great stuff. Thank you, Jessie. Spot on time. We really appreciate your sharing. So that does bring our Top Employers Inspire webinar with Nestle China to an end. And I'd like to thank you for attending. We really appreciate your participation. And we hope you enjoyed the session and derived great value from it. Apologies again for the technical issues that we endured. Sometimes bandwidth is out of our control. But I'm pretty sure you got the gist of what was discussed today. And what I will say is, based on the content that was presented by Jessie, I think we all have a wonderful source of inspiration to think about how we can further improve the in-person career development practices for our employees in our own company. And Jessie, I'd like to give you a big thanks of appreciation on behalf of us all. We really appreciate your time and your willingness to share with the global HR community.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you.
Thank you. So please enjoy the remaining sessions. It's the last day of Top Employers Inspire. And with that, I will now hand back to Wouter at our main studio in the Netherlands, Amsterdam. So goodbye from my side.
Thank you. Really inspiring sessions. So like the Nestlé Mentor Networks, they really make a great personal support system. Thank you very much for your valuable contribution, Jessie. And also thank you, Billy, for your excellent moderation. As always, I was going to say. Thank you both.
Thanks,
next
Wouter.
up, welcome. See you again soon, hopefully. Next in 45 minutes, we've got UST on driving DE&I with social impact. And later, we've got certified top employers Dana and Jusk in a conversation about global strategy and local needs. And we finish Top Employers Inspire later today with a future-looking interview between our CEO, Top Employer Institute CEO David Plink, and our Research and Insight Director Quinten van Es. Be sure to register, and we see you in the next Top Employer Inspire session. Thank you.